Here is the biggest life lesson that I got from Mariah Carey's Emancipation of Mimi. This week marks 20 years since the release of the Emancipation of Mimi, a huge album from Mariah Carey, which is saying a lot because she has a lot of huge albums. For those that remember, Mariah Carey back in September 11th of 2001 released the Glitter soundtrack. The movie didn't do so well, the album didn't do any better, but this marked a new contract with Virgin Records, a monumental moment and contract for Mariah and the music industry. Here's the thing, Mariah Carey at this particular point in her career had never had really a flop album or single. So for her to have this movie and project and this new record deal to fall apart was a huge thing. People wrote her off basically, not the Lambs, but people had written her off. And Mariah did return with the album Charm Bracelet in 2002 approximately. However, it wasn't until 2005 when she released the Emancipation of Mimi did she remind people not only is she an incredible singer, but an incredible songwriter and producer. What was the life lesson that I learned back then 20 years ago from Mariah, having that failing album and then to return with such a huge album? First of all, I remember back then saying, I don't know why people didn't believe that Mariah would return. She proved to you guys time after time that she's able to sing and write hit after hit. Why would you automatically just believe that she's lost it? But I remember back then thinking to myself, just because people do not believe in your greatness or do not believe in you doesn't mean that you should stop. It doesn't mean that you should give up. And I think back then I interviewed Oprah back in 2012. If I had stopped there after opportunities did not come after that big monumental interview, I wouldn't be where I am today. If I had just given up back then and just said no, I'm just gonna stick with a corporate job. I'm not going to pursue my dream of doing what I'm doing now. It was back then that I had that moment and did not even realize how monumental that moment was. Not even talking about the great songs and the great lyrics and the great singing from that project. It was the energy of Mariah not giving up on her talent, not giving up on her music, and kept pushing. And quiet as kept, she really won in the whole glitter of it all. Between the major contracts she signed and was able to walk away from, she walked away from with the rights to the Glitter project. I mean, Mariah has won after time after time after time, only for us fast forward how many years later she's a queen of Christmas, and that album alone can take care of her generations to come.